Colin Andrew Thomas, 10/17/1989. This is the freestyle take one introduction to my new podcast, live from the Looney Bin 402. I just thought I'd say some introductory things. First and foremost, I am currently incarcerated and I am an involuntarily committed person in a mental institution in Lincoln, Nebraska, as a direct result of a mental breakdown caused by the relentless and malicious gaslighting provocations of the criminal state, who incites violence and has a horrifying track record of rights violations and abuses of power, and has a monopoly on legal violence and virtually unlimited resources and many tentacles. So since the Occupy Wall Street movement of 2011, I've been surveilled, harassed, intimidated, entrapped, attacked, burglarized, robbed, attempted murdered, and survived, and had a mental breakdown and shot an empty police cruiser and the front door of a house at night, and then told on myself and committed life suicide because I was overwhelmed and gave up and threw my life away. But God has a plan. There is a creator, I've come to understand, and it would not allow me to go to prison for 25 years. And so I wound up in the mental institution where I am properly medicated for PTSD. However, I am being misdiagnosed paranoid and delusional and schizophrenic for complaining about the psychotic and relentless abuses of power of the criminal state. But I fiercely advocated for myself and pulled some legal maneuvers and represented myself pro se in a federal court of law against my original medication provider, creating a conflict of interest, forcing them to alternate medication providers. I was cornered by a doctor. He said, "It looks like you've got a lot of intellectual horsepower up there. Let's keep the courts out of this." Then he pulled me out back alone and sat me down and said, "I'm very direct. I'll give you a shot, intermuscular." So that was coercion and unprofessional and unethical and illegal. But anyways, we met in the middle. I told them about I have verifiable traumas. I've woken up on life support. I have 11 stitches in my eyebrow for being pistol whipped for no legitimate reason, which is another story. But so I have verifiable traumas. They officially acknowledge history of PTSD on my primary diagnosis. They properly medicated me for it with Klonopin and Prozac, and I'm also on Abilify and Vyvanse, better living through chemistry, benzodiazepines, and amphetamines. Anyway, so half the battle is won. I was on Invega, which is a form of psychotropic assault and battery, as Invega is a corrosive pharmaceutical product that has multiple adverse side effects that I would not tolerate, which is why I filed the lawsuit. Anyways, I dropped the lawsuit, did some things. I'm properly medicated and stable. So the Lincoln Regional Center fundamentally amounts to an extension of state repression in a continuum, because all these horrifying things happened to me. It started in 2014, what Bill Binney, the whistleblower, See Bill Binney, Tragedy and Hope, calls active attack, and he says, quote, "Once you become a targeted individual, there's virtually nothing you can do," end quote. But very hyper-condensed, long story short, I got mind-fucked with convincing look-alike pornography of a loved one in a blog with her name on it in college, and I had a nervous breakdown, got taken by the police to the psych ward in Thorazine, got banned from student housing, virtually expelled from college, thrown into student loan debt, my life sabotaged, and I got black material on me and was framed for a single-sentence phone call to this girl I happen to truly care about since 2005, who I saved myself to marry properly, which is another story. But anyways, I am the author of the book NSA Gang Stalking, a Euphemism for Corporate Christian Terrorism, New Dimensions of American Evil, and Google's Social Credit System Abuse of Targeted Individuals in the PRISM program. It's about 800 pages, handwritten, and upon discharge, I've been incarcerated since July 1st, 2020. It is now, what month is it? September 1st, 2024. Okay, so I've decided I'm a composer, authentic German genius composer, poet, aspiring author. I write speeches, political columns, articles, therapy prompts, and my first manuscript to a book. And so upon my discharge, I intend on further developing my civic and political personality by giving book readings in libraries, churches, auditoriums, theaters, union halls, public parks with an amplifier and a microphone, and other civic spaces pro bono to record, upload, and disseminate. But I find it wise to, with the help of a family member and a family friend, to record and upload content onto this new up-and-coming podcast, live from the Looney Bin 402, so that when I give book readings, I have a website established and content, hours of content, will snowball by the time of my release. So basically, I'm just building a persona on the internet and waking people up, which is my civic duty as an enlightened public citizen operating in the public interest pursuant to social justice. Now, that's about all I need to say as an introduction, I think. Traumatic experiences are being confused for delusions of the imagination. The truth always comes out, often too late. However, truth resonates, especially when spoken with moral force. So I will continue to tell the truth insofar as I can determine it. I have no pieces of paper or contentions in front of me. So this is take one and probably the final take, because I freestyle off the dome. But anyways, welcome to Live from the Looney Bin 402. This is Dillinger Deep Freestyle Unscrewed.